The blizzard came without mercy. Wind streamed across the frozen Siberian plain, erasing paths, memories, and sound itself. Snow stacked against wooden walls like it meant to bury the world. Holed inside a small, leaning cabin at the edge of nowhere, Anya Mikhailovna, 80 years old, sat by a stove that barely breathed warmth. Her hands shook as she stitched an old wool sock, something to keep busy, something to remember why she was still here. She had lived alone for 17 winters now, long enough to know when death was close, long enough to recognize when something unusual was about to happen. Then she heard it, a sound the storm could not swallow, a faint scratch. At first, Anya thought the wind had thrown a branch against her door. She ignored it. Siberia played tricks on the lonely. Then came the sound, again lighter this time. More deliberate. Scratch. Pause. Scratch. Anya rose slowly, bones protesting like old doors. She wrapped her shawl tighter and leaned close to the door. No voice. No footsteps. She opened it a crack, and the storm rushed in like a living thing. On her doorstep stood a red fox, fur crusted with ice, eyes wide with fear and resolve. And at her feet, barely moving, lay a tiny fox cub, wrapped in the mother's tail like a final prayer. The fox did not run. She did not bear her chief. She waited. Anya's heart hammered. Wild animals did not come to humans. Not here. Not in winter. The fox met her gaze, and something passed between them. Not language, not instinct. Understanding. The cub whimpered, weak and thin. Its breath came in shallow puffs. Anya felt the cold creep into her bones, but something warmer spread in her chest. I have nothing, she whispered. I am old. The fox lowered her head. Not in submission. In trust. Anya opened the door wider. The cabin filled with snow and red fur and life. Anya wrapped the cub in her last good blanket and placed it near the stove. The mother fox hovered, trembling, torn between fear and hope. Anya poured warm milk, watered down, into a chipped saucer. She slid it forward with shaking hands. The fox sniffed it, then drank fast. Desperate, the cub stirred. Outside, the storm howled louder, furious at being defied. Anya shut the door. For the first time in years, she was not alone. The night stretched endlessly. Anya did not sleep. She fed the stove piece by piece, watching the cub breathe, watching the fox watch her. Every so often, the fox crept closer to her baby, licking its ears, nudging it softly as if saying stay. Anya spoke to them quietly, telling stories she had not told in decades about her husband, lost to the cold, about a son who never returned from the city. The fox listened. When dawn finally bled pale blue through the window, the cub opened its eyes. The blizzard broke suddenly, as Siberian storms do. Silence replaced fury. Snow glittered like shattered glass. The cub stood unsteady, but alive. Anya laughed. The sound surprised her. It felt unused, like a forgotten muscle. She offered scraps of bread soaked in broth. The fox accepted, never taking her eyes off Anya's face. Gratitude, Anya realized, did not belong only to humans. They stayed another night. The fox did not leave. Anya did not ask her to. The cub slept curled against Anya's slipper. Its warmth seeped into her feet, into her bones, into places long frozen by grief. That night, Anya dreamed of her son as a boy laughing, running through snow, turning back to wave. When she woke, the fox was sitting at the foot of her bed, guarding her as fiercely as any mother. On the third morning, the fox stood by the door. The cub was stronger now, curious, alive. Anya understood. Some kindnesses were not meant to be kept. She opened the door. Cold rushed in, but it no longer felt cruel. The fox paused at the threshold. She looked back once. Her eyes held something ancient and knowing. Then she dipped her head, a bow, and they were gone red against white, disappearing into the endless forest. The cabin felt empty again, but not hollow. Anya cleaned the floor, folded the blanket, and placed it carefully by the stove. She noticed her hands shook less. That winter, Anya lived, spring came. When the snow melted, Anya found tracks near her door, small, playful ones, circling the cabin. Sometimes she glimpsed a flush of red at the tree line. She left food out, not every day, just enough. One evening, as the sun dipped low, Anya heard a familiar sound. Scratch, comma, pause, comma, comma. She opened the door. To foxes stood there now the mother, strong and sleek, and the cub, grown tall and bright-eyed. They did not come inside. They did not need to. They stayed long enough to be seen. Then they turned back to the forest. Anya lived to more winters. When neighbors finally came looking, they found her cabin empty but peaceful. By the door lay a red fox feathered into the snow, curled as if standing guard. Some storms take everything. Others reveal what the world still remembers how to do. Ask for help and answer.